Today I'm making something really yummy, and this is a Bavarian Apple Torte. So let's get on with the ingredients. 1 cup of all-purpose flour, a half a cup of room temperature butter, 1 cup of regular white sugar, and what I've done is I've split the sugar into 1/3 of a cup in each container because we're going to be using this in separate steps. So 1/3 of a cup, 1/3 of a cup, and 1/3 of a cup for a total of 1 cup of white sugar. And a few apples. I've got 5 here. It all depends on how large your apples are. 1 egg, 1/4 cup of sliced almonds, 1 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1 teaspoon of vanilla, and 1 package of cream cheese. That's 250 grams. That's approximately a half a pound. So those are the ingredients. So let's get started. All right, our first step is to get all of our butter in here. There we go. I'm gonna grab my mixer. And I get this moving. And I'll put in 1/3 of a cup of our white sugar. So the first thing we want to do is get all of this creamed up really nicely. So I'll just cream this up and I'll be back in a second. Alright, that's good. And now we'll incorporate our flour. I also want you to preheat your oven to 425 degrees Fahrenheit at this point. So I'll just get all the flour in just like that. There we go. And this is going to be for our crust. So I'm just going to slowly incorporate this. So I'll try to make this video a little shorter, so I'll just cut a little bit of this out. And I'll come back when it's almost coming together. Alright, it's another 30 seconds or so later, and this is all nicely come together, so that's perfect. And I just wanted to let you know, the butter that I am using today is salted butter. That's why there is no salt in this recipe. Okay, so that's our first step. Then what we're going to do, I have a 9-inch little pan here. And what we're going to do, it's got a removable bottom. And now I'm just going to simply take all of our nice dough here and get it right in here. And I'm going to start flattening this all out. So I'm just going to go like this. And if you don't want to do it like that, you can grab a spatula and go around and push just like this. You can use that. I'm going to use my hands. And what I want to do is I want to get some of this up against the sides. So I'm just going to keep going around just like this. You can use the knuckles of your hand if you find that works a little better. Any which way that works, you know, good for you, use that way. And you can also use a piece of plastic wrap if you wish. So you can put the plastic wrap in here and just push like this. You know, push down on the plastic wrap instead of actually pushing directly on the dough. Alright, that looks good. I've been working on that for about a minute. I just wanted to make sure that I got all the sides nicely done. Now what I'm going to do while we start on our filling, I'm just going to pop this into the fridge and just let it rest a little bit. Okay, so I've put in my 250 grams or 1 package of cream cheese into our bowl. And just to save on bowls, what I'm doing is I'm just using the same bowl that we made our mixture in. And what we're going to do, we're going to cream this up. So I'll get that just mixed up a little bit. And we'll get our sugar in there. So that's another 1/3 a cup of sugar. Okay, so that's the second third. The first third of sugar we used in our crust. Now we're using the second third of a cup of sugar in our filling. And the last third of sugar, the last third of a cup of sugar, we're going to be using with our apples. So let's get this mixed up. Get that nicely creamed. Okay. And then I'll just get an egg in here. And that will loosen it up a little bit. and then our vanilla. And whenever you're adding liquid items, you should try to slow down your mixer if you remember. It's just easier because you won't have anything spraying on your walls. That's not a good thing. Or all over your counter or whatever. So we'll just get that mixed up. Alright, there we go. And mix that for another good 30 seconds. Just get your mixer going on high and just mix that right up. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to get this onto our crust. So I'll go get my crust. Alright, there is our nice crust, which I did have in the fridge while we were making our filling. And what we will do now is we'll get all of this into our pan. It smells good. Alright, there we go. And then I'm just going to get all of this evenly spread, just like that, all the way around. Okay. And we'll just get it nice and even. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm just going to move that off to the side. What we have left is our last 1/3 of a cup of sugar. We also have our cinnamon, so I'm going to dump that in there just to make it easier. And now we're ready to go with this. The last thing we're going to do, we have our apples and we have our almonds. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to peel all of these and I'm going to slice them up. So I'm not going to bore you with doing that. I will just do that right now. I'll whip through this and then I'll come back when everything's ready, and then we're going to assemble the last little bit and then we're going to pop it in the oven. Alright, so I've just cut up all of my apples. I'm going to take the sugar and the cinnamon. I just want to give it a little stir before we get it in here. And whatever fits on our torte will fit on our torte, and the rest, well, guess what? I'm going to have a little snack with it. The chef always deserves a little snack. So then just mix them all up so that they're all evenly coated. You want to give every little bit of apple, you know, some loving. So there we go, and that smells so good. And there we go. Beautiful. Okay? And then we're going to grab our nice torte, and then we're going to start putting the apples on. Now, there are no rules. You can put them on any way you want. You could actually cut the apple a lot smaller. You could actually just cube it and just pour it on so that it's nicely even. Nicely? How about nicely even? You know, you can do any which way you want. I'm just going to go and just do a little, you know, little pattern. There we go. If some of them aren't cut to your liking, just, you know, cut them up. There we go. So I'm just going to keep going at this, and I'll be back in a second. Just fill up any little empty spots that you may see. And there we go. Beautiful. Doesn't that look great? Alright, so I've got a few left here. You're saying, oh, well, what do I do with the leftovers? Well, the amount of apples that I used, you know, you can go either way. You can, you know, do fewer apples than I did. Or what I'll do is I'll just take these, I'll put them into a saucepan, and I'll just reduce them, and later on I'll just pour that on some nice ice cream, just for a little snack, you know, later on tonight. So that's it. Now our next and our last step is our nice almonds. And what you want to do now is just take the almonds and just sprinkle them all over. Now, I said 1/4 cup. You can use as many as you want. If you don't want to use this many, don't. You can use more if you wish, but a 1/4 cup is good. You'll see. So just like that. So our oven is 425 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to bake this for 10 minutes. And then we're going to turn the temperature down to 375 degrees. Here we go. And we're going to bake that for another 25-30 minutes, somewhere around there. I will tell you exactly how long I bake that. And here we go. And I'm going to bake this on another sheet in case I have any kind of spillage, because it's much easier to clean your tray than it is your oven. So there we go. So I'm going to pop this in the oven and I'll come back and I'll show you the final product later on. So I just brought my torte out of the oven about 30 seconds ago. It's extremely hot right now. I'm going to let it cool for quite a while and then I'm going to remove it from the actual tart pan. I baked it for a total of 35 minutes. What I'll do is I'm going to let it completely cool down and then I will show you the final product a little bit later. Alright, so this is several hours later and I just wanted to unmold this on camera so you can see what it looks like. So I'm just going to gently put my hand underneath and you can see the magic of this kind of mold, you know, this tart pan with the removable bottom. It's very, very easy to remove anything that you bake inside it. And I'll just show you what it looks like here on the side. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? And then we'll cut into it. So there we go. So I'll take a couple of product shots and a little bit of video before I cut into it, and then we'll cut into it. So I've just zoomed in a little bit and I just wanted to show you my nice torte, how the sides really came out really well, and a little bit of a close-up so you can see this. There we go. Look at that. Doesn't that look great? Yum. Alright, let's just cut into this. I've got a nice sharp knife here and I just want to get a nice slice out of here. There we go. There we go. And there we have it. Oh, that looks good. I'll just get it onto a plate. And there we have it, my Bavarian Apple Torte. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Yum.